This evil general stops by this farmland to say, hey, give us food, or else we're gonna be back in several months and we're gonna kill you. Oh my god, this film is A Bug's Life. Rebel Moon Part 1 Child of Fire, released at the end of 2023 on Netflix and is directed by Zack Snyder, who has also directed such films like Dawn of the Dead, 300, Watchmen, Man of Steel, Army of the Dead, and the true version of Justice League. And this film is starring Sofia Boutella, Jimon Hounsou, Ed Skrein, Michael Huisman, Duna Bay, Ray Fisher, Charlie Hunnam, and the voice of Anthony Hopkins. On the distant moon of Veldet, the Imperial forces of the Motherworld have arrived looking for two rebels and offer to buy up the harvest of this small farming community. And when the leaders of this community refuse, they are murdered, and the town is put on notice to create a huge harvest for the Imperial forces. Amongst the villagers is Cora, who used to be an Imperial soldier and fights back against the villains who stay behind to watch over the village, and is charged with putting together an elite group of people who can teach this village how to fight, so that by the time the evil forces come back, they are able to defend themselves. Now, I've heard the criticism out there, even when this film was announced, that this film was, it's going to be Zack Snyder's Star Wars. It's going to be Netflix's Star Wars empire. And I'm so sick of someone coming up with an original idea, an original universe, trying to create something in the sci-fi world, because it's always related back to Star Wars. Oh, you're creating something that's happening on a distant planet? Oh, it's just another Star Wars knockoff. I am so sick and tired of that argument, because this film is not Star Wars. Yes, it has some similar things, like it does take place on a distant planet, on a distant moon. It follows similar protagonist structure of the hero's journey when someone has a call to action and goes off to the unknown world to fight the evil doings. Every single film has some type of hero's journey. Every single adventure film has an essence of Star Wars and has an essence of this. So just because this film takes place in outer space doesn't make it a Star Wars ripoff. It does, however, make it a Bug's Life ripoff, and if you want to go back even farther than A Bug's Life, you can go back to Kurosawa's Seven Samurai. You have this clan of evil bandits who come into this farming community. They want the food because they're hungry and they have the guns and they're bullies. So they say, hey, at the end of your harvest, we're going to be back and we're going to take most of it. So the villagers, they don't have a lot of money. They don't have a lot of means to pay for anyone to come and fight for them. So they send someone off to find just some raggedy tag of people who can shoot guns and are really sexy, and they ride Harry Potter creatures and they have like 16 different abs to get all these people to come back to their town to teach them how to fight so that they can fight back against the evil forces. This is Seven Samurai. This is A Bug's Life. This is Magnificent Seven. So for those of you out there who just hate Zack Snyder for just his name and everything that he does, just take a step back. He is not ripping off Star Wars. He is ripping off probably one of the greatest films ever made of Kurosawa's Seven Samurai. And you know what? Why the fuck not? One of the greatest movies ever made. If I was a film director, yeah, I'd be ripping it off too. It's a great story. And then you take that and you add in the amazing cinematography that this film has, yeah, it's gonna be great. Biggest compliment I can give this film. The cinematography, the lighting choices, and the use of visual effects are beautiful in here. It is seamless. Everything looks freaking real to me. The robots, the sunset from the sun on this moon, it's just all gorgeous. It's all beautiful. Sofia Boutella, who I loved in Kingsman, she was one of my favorite parts. So to hear that she's getting more of a leading role in this film and in this franchise made me extremely happy. She's a very nice person. And I think she does a great job of being that brooding, kind of hidden and closed off introvert, but yet when she sees injustice being done, she's a total badass. I love seeing Ray Fisher get a role, and of course he is. I mean, Zack Snyder's going to take care of him. He was very outspoken with how he was being treated, and fellow cast members were being treated during the whole Justice League situation. So love seeing that he's getting work again. I know a lot of studios are like, oh, you're speaking out against us? Well, you'll never work in this town again. Atticus Noble is the villain of this story, and he's a vicious motherfucker. He's doing a lot of terrible things in here. He's doing some other things that I'm questioning. He's got a lot of suction-y things going on, and I don't know if that's like a pleasurable thing or if he was recharging his body. I don't know. There's a lot of things in this universe that have not been answered yet, mainly because this is a part one. And I think all of you know how I feel about films that have part one or part two in their title. I want the film to stand on its own. This film, unfortunately, does not stand on its own. It leaves off on a major cliffhanger, and we really don't have any resolution. This film is all just building, which I like. I actually really enjoyed the building and the establishing of all of these characters. I'm definitely craving to see where they are going and what happens in part 2, and I heard that potentially there may be a part 3. But in terms of like this film being its own film, I mean, it's unfinished. The story is unfinished. Which also brings me to another thing that I heard Zack Snyder talk about before this film even came out, was that this film, this, I guess, technically theatrical release of this film is not the actual director's release that he was working on. The actual version that he was working on is over 3 hours long. This version that we got that was released on Netflix is 2.5 hours. So I guess the shit that was happening with Snyder at Warner Brothers with Batman v Superman and Justice League is kind of happening again at Netflix. And I thought Netflix was supposed to be like this holy land, this place that would allow Zack Snyder to do all that he wants and to do his entire vision. But then when they got the long-ass release and the long-ass runtime, they were like, no, you gotta cut that down. So Netflix, not too different from Warner Brothers and that whole situation. So, like, not the whole point of him going to Netflix was that he could do what he wanted to do with his film, and now they're cutting it down to this shorter version that's not his complete vision. So, it's just freaking confusing for me. The film is all about building. It's all about building this world, and I enjoy this world. I'm really curious to see where this goes and where these characters go. I like the establishment of this evil power that is sweeping its way through this galaxy, and I like how trades are happening. I like that there's farming planets and moons, and there's a desert planet. Okay, I can kind of see where the Star Wars comparisons are coming from, but I mean, it's all sci-fi. You know, God damn it, there's just sci-fi planets out there. But I actually really enjoyed this film. I don't think it's the greatest thing that Snyder's ever done. I don't think it's the greatest thing that Netflix has ever put out, but it's a solid first entry into this brand new world. And in a movie world where we get so many copy and pasting of the same story and the same universe over and over and over again, I like to see this brand new concept and this brand new world with these rules being established. It makes me happy. I just wish that this version was the director's cut, and who knows when that director's cut will come out of part 1, probably after part 2 comes out, so probably next year is what I'm guessing. I just don't know why it couldn't have been released right away. It's Netflix. Like, you don't have to worry about theatrical release and runtimes. It's Netflix. It's frickin' Netflix. You stream it. You sit your ass on a couch. You're at home. No one else is talking around you. You can enjoy it to yourself, by yourself. Idiots. I'm gonna give Rebel Moon Part 1 a Child of Fire 3 out of 5 Blu-rays.
Not exactly what I had in mind, but not bad.
So guys, have you seen Rebel Moon Part 1? What did you think about it? Are you excited for Part 2? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell. See you the next time I release next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.